I lay ensnared in the forest path, a metal trap clamped around my leg. It had been days since the rusty jaws had snapped shut, leaving me weakened by hunger and thirst. The sun's rays barely penetrated the thick canopy above, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Overhead, carrion birds circled, anticipating their next meal. As I lay there, ready to succumb to my fate, something crashed through the underbrush. Raising my head, I hoped to see the being that would finally end my suffering. In those tense moments, my mind drifted back over my life. I had hatched alone in a cold crater, fending off the big gray four-legged beasts that nipped at my undeveloped hide. I had fought to survive in these foreign forests, learning to hunt and evade predators. Yet here I was, a mighty beast laid low by a simple trap hidden beneath the leaves. Suddenly, a figure burst from the bushes. A small pack was strapped to its back, and strange clothing of blue material covered its pale hide. The human boy froze upon seeing me. Despite my weakened state, I was still much larger than him, the size of what humans called a Kodiak grizzly. But the boy didn't shy away. Instead, he approached me cautiously, his movements slow and deliberate. I snapped at him as he got close, baring sharp teeth designed to tear flesh and chew bone. The human fell back in surprise, staring at me with wide eyes. Then, instead of running away, he stood back up and rummaged through his pack, pulling out a small metal box emblazoned with bright colors. He opened the box and retrieved a flat, white, square object. With an elegant toss, the object landed in front of me, the tantalizing scent of meat wafting from it. Without taking my eyes off the human, I nudged the white square off the top of the object, grabbing the thinly sliced meat with my teeth and snapping it up. My thirst reared its ugly head as I swallowed. As if knowing my struggle, the boy emptied the metal box of some small packages, grabbed a clear bottle, and poured the contents into a container, setting it on the ground. He slid the box over the ground with a long stick until it rested by the white squares. I could smell it. Water, pure and clean in a way I could only dream of. Thirst clouding my judgment, I sank my snout into the container and began to drink the sweet cold water offered to me. As I lapped up the last drops, bending the metal in the process, I felt the pressure and pain on my leg lessen. The human had his back turned, feet placed firmly on either side of the trap, prying the jaws open with his slim fingers until I could pull my leg free. When I did so, the human let go of the trap's jaws and fell back, scurrying towards his pack, fear watering his eyes as I stood over him. Slowly, I lowered my horned head, placing it against the boy's chest, able to feel his terror and dread as if it were my own. I had not a clue why this young human had chosen to free me, knowing I could kill him as easily as breathing. As I pushed my thoughts and gratitude into his mind, it was as though I was speaking. My teeth, my wings, my blood, my flesh, and my hide are indebted to you, small child. Fear no harm that may come your way. The child's heartbeat relaxed, and a soft palm was placed between my horns. The human spoke, giving me a name, a beautifully human concept for something outside their own species. I'll call you Snappy. We'll be best friends forever. I felt the joy radiating off the human as he collected his things and walked off, me tailing at his heels. The human showed me his dwelling, a small wooden building with a gravel road leading up to it. The boy gave me a meat called bologna from a circular package before showing me a medium-sized empty metal shack in the tree line, saying, "You can stay here. Mom would be mad if she found out about you." I did not ponder this statement, finding the shack dark and the entrance well obscured. It was comfortable and much preferable to the dank caves I'd lived in until then. Years passed by. The boy grew into an exceptional young man, and his mother, still unaware of my presence, grew weaker with each passing year. I watched as the boy, who I'd seen grow, cried into my flanks, wrapped in my wings, as humans in white garb removed the woman from the cottage on a wheeled stretcher. My own heart ached with the power of the human sorrow as he cried out, "I wish I could help her. She's fought so hard, but it's only gotten worse. She's going to die, Snappy, and I can't stop it." I let the human cry himself to sleep against my hide, letting him drift away. As he slept, I nipped at my ankle, drawing fresh, golden blood from the wound. Gently smearing my glistening blood against the boy's lips, I said in my mind what I wished he could hear. My blood to heal and rejuvenate, as you slaked my thirst that fateful day. As the glister faded from the human's lips, I rested. Over the next week, the boy's emotions told all, even without his words. They said it just went away like a miracle. The tests kept reporting the cancer was dying impossibly fast. She should be able to come home within the month. I felt joy of my own as the human matured and aged with his mother, often enjoying a meal on the back patio. As he grew into a man, our bond strengthened such that we could share thoughts and emotions across great distances. I grew into my wings, able to fly and perch in sturdier trees as my form became more lithe and long. One night, a vehicle with no headlights approached my human's dwelling. Big men, smelling of alcohol and bad intentions, quietly exited the sleek vehicle. They didn't suspect or notice me watching from the tree line as they grabbed human weapons and approached the door. They didn't make it halfway before I lifted off the ground with a roar to alarm and wake my human. As I landed between the house and the men, they scrambled back and fell. My talons dug into one man's shoulder as I heard the door unlock and swing open. I turned and gazed at my human and his mother, a horrified expression on the woman's face as my human ran out, saying, "Who are these guys? Why are they here?" Stress bled from his words. I conveyed my thoughts to him. They approached weapons drawn, reeking of malicious intent. "My claws are at your command." My human looked at the terrified men, a uniquely human sentiment clawing its way to the surface. "Mercy. Let them go," he stated clearly to me before addressing the other 4 humans. "I know not why you decided to come here, whether it be to rob us or kill us, but take this as a turning point. Become better men. Don't waste your one shot." I let go of the man, claws retracting from the warm flesh as I sat back on my haunches by my human, my considerable bulk between his mother and the men. They picked up their injured compatriot and loaded him into the vehicle, driving quietly away. I heard my human's mother speak in a shaky, terrified way. "Tim, what the hell is that thing?" We looked over in perfect unison. I felt a strange emotion from my human, Tim, as I now knew his name. He felt saddened he hadn't told his mother. Softly, he said, "Mom, this is Snappy. You know that night way back in grade school when I came home all muddy and my lunchbox was broken? Well, I only told you half the truth. I did get pushed into a ditch by some older boys, but the reason my lunchbox was broken and I was missing all of my food was because I gave it to Snappy here, freeing him from an old bear trap. He's been living in Dad's old shed since." The woman's emotions changed from frightened concern to matronly anger. "And you never told me? Timothy Derek Creamer? If you weren't an adult already, I would tan your hide for not telling me you had literally befriended a dragon." Even I shrank back a little at the small woman's anger, but she took a deep breath and calmed herself, saying, "You've got a heart of gold, Tim. It just scares me sometimes how you use it." The next dozen years passed in a blur. Tim's mother aged, and at the ripe age of 100, passed peacefully in her sleep, leaving the house and property to a 60-year-old Tim who had his own family now. His little girl loved sitting on my back and riding me like in her favorite movies when she was Tim's age when he saved me. I found myself sleeping in a hand-built shed with proper bedding and heat during the winter months. Tim, his wife, and adult daughter would share their Christmases with me, giving me gifts of fresh venison and shiny trinkets that now adorned those plain shelves in my new home. They never asked for anything in return except my company. Then the day came when the sun was blotted out by a massive ship, entry pods burning into the lower atmosphere. Somehow, I knew it was my own kind returning for this world's judgment. They landed in every major city, huge areas devoted to troops and gear for conquest. I felt my time drawing near as a massive elder dragon landed in the yard where I knew he,